This podcast is brought to you by our Anime Addicts community. We love you guys so much on the Discord, on social media, wherever you're listening from. If you want to help out the show, you can go to aapodcast.com/join or Patreon, and we're going to be here for you. We're going to continue to entertain you week in and week out as what I think is probably the most consistent podcast over the last, let's be honest, 13 years, going on 14 fucking years. So, hey, if you want to reward 14 years of consistent effort, when I put it that way, how could you not go to aapodcast.com/join or Patreon, and you're going to make everybody real happy. And now, time to start the show.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at aapodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello all and welcome to the 667th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. I'm Caroline, and we also got Mitsugi, and we also got Mason. How you guys doing?
Mitsugi's right here. I'm holding my jeans up. I wanted everybody to know I am not wearing pants today. Okay, and here's the jingle from the belt. You can hear it in the mic. Proof positive. I am pantsless.
I mean, not exactly.
Drop the pants. That's right.
Pants with a belt on it. You could.
We all know Mitz doesn't own more than one pair of pants. He's not that kind of guy.
How are you doing, Mason?
I'm doing well. For talking about our clothing, I'm wearing my Gundam shirt because
fuck yeah,
we're talking about Gundam today. I gotta get in the mood, gotta get in the robot, if you will, and I'm ready to go.
I was planning on bringing my own Gundam for today's discussion, but I totally forgot. It's in the shop, you know?
Oh, no.
You do.
I got some tiny Gundam figures somewhere in a box, but I don't put all my anime shit out because I don't have enough room for all that, but I'm glad to be here, guys.
You got an image to upkeep. You can't be known as a guy with the Gundams.
I mean, I don't have any Gunpla. They're mostly like little gachapon Gundams that have like 10 pieces that you stick together, and they're cute. You know, they cost like $5.
Gunpla the plural form of Gundam?
Gunpla is like when you buy a Gundam model kit and they're like 1,000 pieces and people are like painting them with brushes and, you know, just spending years on them and doing amazing jobs. And I don't have the talent for that. So
would you want a Gundam Lego set?
Fuck yeah, I want a Gundam Lego set.
Well, if it's Lego, it's not.
Of course.
I mean, yeah, it'd be cool.
I grew up on Legos, so I am down for... So I work for a company that owns like 400 helicopters. And so a couple years ago, I was thinking about buying like a really expensive Lego Technic helicopter. They do make a few of them. And that like have working propellers and everything, which is pretty neat. Because that's the kind of shit that I like. But I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet because they're expensive, you know? They're like $300. So, you know.
For the record, in case you're curious, Gunpla is Gundam plus plastics. It's the plastic models that the toys are. Hence it's Gunpla. That's where it comes from, in case you wanted to know. It's a very funny
sounding name that I've never heard before, so I had to ask. Now that our first tangent of the day is over, let us remind the people where they can go to support us. You can go to aapodcast/join, or you can go to patreon.com/aapodcast. All great ways to support your favorite addicts. You can also watch us on Twitch, twitch.tv/aapodcast, where we are live every Sunday at 5 p.m. EST-ish. Sometimes 5:10, 5:15.
Don't tell them that, or they'll show up at 5:10.
No, we are always on the dot, 5 p.m. EST.
That's right.
We are also on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, which is the place to be for all sorts of great anime and otherwise discussions. It's an easy join. Just go to aaadiscord.com and you'll be magically transported to your favorite Discord channel.
Oh my goodness.
Not sure why I started talking like that.
Oh, don't you know?
Oh, the link tree is so magical, yes?
Are we already on our second tangent?
Yes, I'm trying to
tangent
divert
episode. Why do they call it
attention from that.
tiptoeing if you're not on the very tips of your toes? That makes no sense. Think about that. Anyway, what else are we talking about?
There are even more ways you can support us with
That's
the
right.
Amazon affiliate page. Mitsuki, can you explain?
Yeah, I don't understand what the difficulty is with the Amazon affiliate page. People aren't using it. Supporttheaddicts.com. Like, if you buy things on Amazon, which I know every single listener here does, there's not a single human alive that doesn't buy shit on Amazon. If you go to the website, supporttheaddicts.com, before you buy your toothpaste or whatever on Amazon, you click the link, and then you can navigate away from the page that it takes you to, because I have to put a bullshit page up there, or Amazon's going to know that we're full of horse shit. So I have to put up like a fake page to like Awashi jerseys or something, so that like Amazon thinks that we're promoting products on the podcast, which we're not, because I don't want to torment you for like that. Instead, we're going through this again because I can't get people to click this fucking link. Just click the link. It's free.
You want?
Somebody bought like a printer off of Amazon, and and the podcast got like $40 from that printer. Just that, and they didn't spend more for buying the printer. They just took $40 away from Jeff Bezos and gave it to us, which was awesome.
Yeah, so if you don't feel like becoming a subscriber or anything like that, this is just a very easy way to help support us and not add any money coming out of your pocket. It's just a fun thing that you can do if you'd like, but we've always appreciated. And another thing is our merch shop, which you can go to at AAAshop.info, where we have added our new waifu and has Bondo shirts, and I'm very excited. If you want to check that out, please do. Now, finally, shall we talk about what's going on this
What
episode?
are we doing today?
We have our Anime Shark Tank episode, which people have been asking, where's Anime Shark Tank? We love Anime Shark Tank. Guess what? We're bringing it right to you.
It's back, baby.
Episode. Congratulations. We also have some Unexplored Pictures. We also have the review of Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. So without further ado, let's get started with the big news of the week.
It's time for big news of the week.
So before I get into it, we have a betting section on the Discord where people are bet on all sorts of things that are related to the podcast, and they tend to donate money for the podcast, but sometimes they donate money for a specific purpose. And Lady Emery, who's the pit boss, lost a bet, and I think someone else as well, and I'm really sorry. I don't know who.
No, it was Raggedy Doctor lost the bet and Lady Emery won. It was the jelly bean bet, because I did not get through my jelly beans by the time that Raggedy Doctor betted it would be done by.
So Raggedy Doctor was the one that gave the money?
Yes.
All right, so Raggedy Doctor gave enough money for me to buy a bottle of Roku gin, which is, I happen to like all liquor. So I have a shot. I don't even know if people shoot gin, but I have a shot of gin here in this glass, my Dragon Ball Z Saiyans glass, which I broke the other one, which is really sad. But I'm gonna drink this right now.
Wow. Is this your first try of it? Oh gosh, that thing.
Oh man,
I could smell that through the mic.
So it's actually like 45 proof. It's actually stronger than most. Got a very nice aromatic flavor. So not too expensive. And I also I took a shot just to do that, and I also got basically the equivalent of like a sweeter gin and tonic here, because I don't have anything to make a gin and tonic. But I put some of the gin in a glass, and I got some 7-Up here with it. So I'm gonna keep drinking, and we'll see how this goes. and thank you very much for people on the Discord for contributing that money. I like gin, and almost no one else does. It seems like, but I like all liquor. So Creed,
just throwing it out there for the next bet.
Yeah, I like all of it. Honestly, I like everything. I don't like beer or wine though. It's pretty weird. I skipped all that shit, went right to the hard stuff. So Creed 3, right? So Creed 3 is a movie that I don't think it's out yet, but it probably will be soon. Let me see when the release date is. Creed 3's release date, blah blah blah, March 3rd.
Friday.
It's out. It came out already. It's out.
Last Friday, yeah.
So I've seen pretty much every movie in the Rocky compendium. So this is part of that. Rocky. So Apollo Creed was the opponent of Rocky in Rocky 1 and 2, and Creed is Apollo Creed's son, and played by Michael B. Jordan. And the reason why I'm mentioning this, and people are like, what the fuck, who cares? The reason is because this movie clearly is drawing a lot of influence from anime, which is pretty cool. There was a prior scene that discussed the influence of the fight scenes from this movie. Apparently, the boxing scenes give a shout out to Naruto, My Hero Academia, Dragon Ball Z, Hajime no Ippo, and Megalobox in some way. So I'm not sure what that means.
Because one character goes Shadow Clone Jutsu before beating up.
I can
only imagine.
I have no idea. But it may be that like maybe someone does a gazelle punch or something, or a liver blow, for Ippo or whatever. But the reason why I mention this again, because that's old news, is that also we now know that there are posters in this movie from Robotech, Naruto, Lupin the Third, and there's a scene that includes a Gunpla figure, which is very timely for today since we're going to talk about Gundam. So it's just, I bring it up not because I'm trying to get you to go see the movie, because you're either going to see the movie or not, depending on if you like boxing. It's just cool to see anime be so permeated into popular culture. So it's just all written all over this movie. And as an anime fan, it's really cool because this kind of thing would not have happened 15 years ago. It would not have happened. And if it did, it would have been mind-blowing. So
I wonder which member of the staff was the anime fan that decided to insert these things into the background.
It's Michael B. Jordan himself.
Really?
Like the lead actor and director, yeah.
Oh, he's directing it too?
I mean, yeah, if he's directing it, then that's... like I remember freaking out when there's a couple Linkin Park music videos that have Gunpla figures in them. I can't remember which songs they are, but there's one song where there's a lot of anime shit in one of the scenes. And it's just neat.
I think in like Meteora Theory. No, I'm mixing up. Meteora, not Hyper Theory. Meteora has like a bunch of graffiti on its like artwork and stuff, and they always had a lot of Gundam references in there.
I'm not sure
one of their EPs had it as well.
I might be Somewhere I Belong. I typed in Linkin Park music video Gundam, and Somewhere I Belong came up. Yeah, it's Somewhere I Belong is the music video. He's like there's the main character, the main singer. What the fuck is his name?
Chester.
Chester Bennington.
Benningfield.
He's like sliding through his bedroom, and it's got all this anime shit in it. So like that was like incredible back then, 15 years ago or whatever that was. But now it's more commonplace. It's just cool to see the belief and the knowledge that anime is becoming more popular to be reinforced in such a way and on a Hollywood stage. So, and that's all I've got for big news of the week. Caroline, what do you got?
Well, speaking of music, Crunchyroll is adding a whole new music feature to the platform. They announced on Saturday during the red carpet for the Crunchyroll Anime Music Awards that it has added music streaming to its paid subscription service in the form of short-form music videos and full-length concerts. So subscribers of any of the streaming platforms' premium plans will have access to full-length live concerts of various artists, including Aimer, Asian Kung Fu Generation, Lisa, and Hiroyuki Sawano. So the service will also include features like music video curation, artist listing pages, and a search integration. Crunchyroll will also launch a dedicated music landing page in the future. So that's pretty interesting. If you got a lot of anime music fans, then they can get their music right from Crunchyroll as well as anywhere else.
Neat.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Music videos, man. Music videos used to be like such a cool thing on TV. And I remember I'd watch like the MTV Countdown. And
every day, listen to the top 10 songs with the coolest videos. Yeah.
I went to Joe Coy last night, right? I was talking about it on the Hobby Addicts. And at the end of the show, which was very long, it was a very great value for the ticket. It's like a 2-hour comedy special. He's playing all this music and talking about how like kids today don't know all these great songs, and so he's playing all these really great songs, and he's like, "This is the song that your mother was banging your daddy to." He's like talking to all the kids. Joe Coy's hilarious, but he's very sophomoric, and that's my kind of humor, as you know. But then like the last song he played was Casey and JoJo's, All My Life, I think it is, and I was telling Pancake, I was like, Pancake, this song was #1 for like 8 months. And everybody that's my age knows this fucking song. So And so music videos are cool, but now no one knows what the fuck you're talking about because MTV's effectively dead. So.
Well, I think the
Sad.
main thing that I would be excited for with this feature is the live concerts. And no, I would not prefer to watch a live concert on my computer, but with a lot of these artists that rarely, if ever, come to the United States or anywhere else that people live outside of Japan, it's pretty nice to be able to look that kind of stuff up and be like, oh, if only.
I got to tell Lady Emery, this gin is delightful and
Well,
very
she's in the chat, so you've already done.
I know, and very strong. I am nearly 200 pounds of solid muscle. I'm drinking. I took that shot, and I'm like, woo!
Are you feeling it in the cheeks already?
Oh, I am feeling it in my eye. I feel it in my eyeballs usually first.
His blood is out. His temperature is rising.
The feeling that your corneas are experiencing.
My eyeballs are very well trained because I live in Denver, and so I am a marijuana user, and you always feel that first in your eyeballs too, and it just feels like I don't know. It feels like my eyeballs are heavy. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's kind of a weird
His eyes
feeling.
are drooping. His
You
blood
need
is
doctor
circulating. He's turning a little pink. He's turning into Majin Buu.
So I'm driving up to North Denver later this week to meet one of our podcast listeners to shoot pool, and it's gonna be cool, right? It's gonna be fun, and the last time I shot pool and drank too much, I'm like rubbing my eyes before I'm shooting because I'm like I can't see, so I'm like rubbing my eyes, taking the worst shot ever. It's just too funny, but life is
Well,
good.
now you have told your opponent just how to take you down.
He ain't gonna
Get
be.
you drinking first.
I'm pretty confident that I can beat anybody that's walking off the street 9 out of 10 times. So bring it on, motherfucker.
And you started betting everything on your game, and
I
you
won-
lost it all.
I won some Patron off a guy the other weekend. He wanted to bet, and I was like, sure, if you want to fucking lose. And then he lost. And I was like, you can buy me a cheap drink. I don't want you to have to spend a lot of money. And he bought Patron. And I was like, bro, I told you I drink the cheap shit. And it was like, if you want to show up with a $14 shot of liquor, I'll drink it. But I was happy with the $6 shot of liquor. Let's move on. Mason?
The Linkin Park album I was thinking of is Reanimation, that has a straight up Gundam on the front. My big
That
news
must
of
be
the week.
recent.
No, it's like a remix album. It
I
doesn't
see.
matter. Attack on Titans finale, the final finale, allegedly of the final series, is set to air in fall of 2023. Following the airing of the recent 1 hour first part of the AOT finale, it was announced through the official Twitter account that the second half, the final thing, allegedly, will debut in the fall. No set date or anything, but roughly we have a 7 to 9 month wait before we get to see the conclusion to Aaron's story. And yeah, I watched the first part. Did you watch it, Caroline?
Yep, all done. And I even recorded my reactions to the.
Ooh, excellent.
I wanted to see if I can do like a short TikTok of just my facial and vocal reactions without any spoilers. I thought it would be fun,
glad
but
you finished
it's
that
turning
phrase.
out to be quite the production. So I'll see if I actually put that out. But yeah, I mean, it was good. Better than the other seasons? I wouldn't say so, but it was still good, and I'm looking forward to the next part. Although I will say, for people who are wondering, ooh, the cliffhanger, I don't want to get to this cliffhanger and have to wait 7 months. It really isn't that major of a
God.
cliffhanger.
It's
To
not
be
any
honest,
worse than what it left off at before.
I think this might be the least cliffhanger that they've let us on for other parts. So it's okay. You just
It's
watch
so
it. It's fine.
long. God, let
It's
it
an
end.
hour. It's fine. The most important thing, the only question I had is, are we going to see more Titans fake swimming through the ocean? And they didn't do that, so it's
No,
okay.
yeah.
It didn't
No,
have that.
that has got to be the most ridiculous looking scene from that entire part.
It's
it just
pretty funny.
Listen,
with how large these Titans are, there's no reason why they should be swimming like fishes. They ought to be just walking on the ocean floor with maybe like their heads poking out of the water. They are that large.
what,
There's
like
no
fucking,
reason why
what,
they
like the
should
Statue
look
of
like
Liberty in Ghostbusters 2?
That. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me your
But not
love,
like
your love
swimming
keeps
like
lifting
small
me
fishes
up.
in this ocean cannot be as big as these Titans are. They just can't be.
Speaking of the ocean, when I was having dinner with Pancake the other night, and I was watching. They were playing Godzilla versus King Kong on the TV, and who in the fuck thought Godzilla would ever lose to King Kong? There's a scene when they're like transporting King Kong on this boat, and Godzilla's like zipping through the ocean like a fucking dolphin, and King Kong's like flailing on this boat, getting his shit fucked up. Oh my! And the reason I mention that is because Godzilla always you can always see him in the ocean. But what a great movie! Godzilla is so much cooler than King Kong. If you like King Kong,
easily.
If you like King Kong more than Godzilla, I hate you.
You're a dumb ape, just like your fan.
I just want you to know that.
I just hate you.
You know what else I want to say is, and I'm going to move on here from this here, but I'm not going to say much about this because Caroline is beyond tired of hearing me bitch. But I'm just going to say that almost exactly 10 years ago today, Attack on Titan Season 1 came out. Okay? They came out on April 6th, 2013. One, I'm horrified that it's been 10 years because I'm old. And two, nothing should take 10 years to finish. Even Game of Thrones didn't take 10 fucking years. It's just too long at this point. You guys got to wrap this shit up. Who is going to sit around for 10 fucking years? It's too long.
Yes, it's a long time, but to its defense, most of that was just between the Season 1 and Season 2
well,
break,
I understand.
which we've given them so much shit for already.
I understand that it was like a 4-year gap or whatever, but you got to realize that like 10 years is a long time, and most people, I would wager 75% of people have so many life changes happen in the span of 10 years that they're not even watching anime anymore. So you can't really expect someone to stick around for 10 fucking years to watch an anime. Some guy started watching Attack on Titan when he was 17. Then like 5-6 years later, he was 23, he had a kid. He don't even watch anime anymore. He can't even finish Attack on Titan. He doesn't give a fuck because he's not going to sit around and watch anime until he's 28. Like you gotta, you gotta.
It's a good thing Dragon Ball hasn't been going on for 30 years.
The media
Dragon,
has come out in the last few days. It is massive, Mitsuki. So you can't say like, how do you expect people to watch something after 10 years?
Mason, shake the hornet's nest.
Everyone's watching it.
Even Dragon Ball Z, which is like 3 times as long episode-wise as Attack on Titan, still only took 6 years to finish. So, I don't know. You're talking about like glacial pace here. Finish the damn thing. It's good. I understand people love it. I've seen almost all of it. I think it's excellent. It's a fucking great show. I'd recommend it, but come on. Like you got to finish this shit. People are not going to stick around for 12% of their life. It's like ridiculous. All right, I'm done. I'm a little tipsy.
I will do it for humanity.
Well, see, were you even watching anime 10 years ago, Caroline?
No,
Honestly.
no. I was lucky enough to skip maybe half of the waiting time for Season 2.
So basically,
I started watching this in 2019.
So basically, you jumped in at like Season 3 and had like a catch-up period.
When I came in, Season 2 had not come out yet. I think it came out the year after I started watching it.
Pound of Nuts, which I love that name, on Twitch says, "Don't tell Mitsugi about One Piece." Man, I know all about One Piece, but I'll tell you about Hajime no Ippo. That is twice as long as One Piece. Have you ever heard of that shit? You ever read a manga that's 2,100 chapters? Yeah, strap your pound of nuts in because you're gonna be reading for a fucking 30 damn years. Wow. Woo!
Well,
some good gin.
As you've put it so eloquently on Discord before, and that people will forever meme you for, with making it as a sticker, it's got me by the balls, Mitsuki. It's got so many people by the balls.
By the nuts.
I mean, what would you rather pick, Caroline? Would you pick 10 years of having to wait a long time, but you're getting quality, juicy, rich content, or 10 years of filler and go nowhere, putzing around just to fill up an episode count? Of course the former. Always the former.
That's like a straw man argument.
Yeah, but it works.
I'm not sure I'm coherent enough to have a debate with you, Mason, because you'd probably
we don't have to have it.
You'd probably win if I was sober, but there are a lot of anime that are a little more concise than Attack on Titan. And I'm not saying Attack on Titan.
There's no argument here.
Attack on Titan
is chock full of stuff. There was no fat to trim from this show.
And I want you to know Attack on Titan is amazing, and it's done incredible things for anime, and I love it. I just feel like they could have finished it probably within like 5 years if they really wanted to. So that's all. But I respect. I have the utmost respect for Attack on Titan.
We've had so many tangents already, so I feel like we should probably head into our main podcast topic. But before that, another tangent. Somebody on Twitch is asking, is Mason live from a bathroom? Where are you, Mason?
I am in just not my usual room. But it's not a bathroom.
Listen, leave my fucking boy alone, okay?
I'm pooping right now.
He's taking a deuce right now, okay? He mutes his mic. He mutes his mic when the shit hits the water. But other than that, he carefully pees against the porcelain in the toilet. He doesn't. Toilets aren't made of porcelain anymore. He carefully pees against the ceramic of toilet and not to hit the water because you don't want to hear the pee stream. So quit asking for it.
Exactly. The reverb maintenance I'm doing right now is absurd.
You upset me.
You're welcome.
Next thing.
All right, and with that, let's head into Anime Shark Tank.
Next thing you're gonna ask for is a toilet cam. Good God.
Who are the sharks? They're self-made business experts worth billions. Mitsuki is a self-proclaimed holy man and a world-renowned enemy of moe girls, raised billions for his church through the Kick the Filth into the Pit of Anime Hell Foundation to lead the fight against moe. Mason, retail empire king and all-around food fanatic, started a grassroots movement and raised $500 million through his new retail food-themed line of skin creams called Pleasures of the Flesh. Caroline, a once humble social media giant turned queen of all media when she founded Otome Radio and built a net worth of $5 billion, blanketing the world in Otome radio waves. These are the sharks, and this is Anime Shark Tank.
Get it.
Oh, welcome to Anime Shark Tank. The 733rd reason why you should join the Discord at AAADiscord.com, motherfuckers. Because, well, actually, you don't even submit Shark Tanks on the Discord. That's the funniest thing.
No, but people were talking about it. I think they were even starting to place bets on what Shark Tank submissions will get passed and which ones won't.
Such degeneracy. Unbelievable.
It's a good place if you are a writer of random anime plots, and you can bounce ideas off of each other.
So, all right. So the reality is that if you go to AAApodcast.com/mailbag, there's an option to submit a Shark Tank. Shark Tank is where the listeners, because I tell you guys, I said it a few weeks ago. I said, this is a listener-generated podcast. It's for the people, by the people, right? And I fucking mean it. So this whole next 40 minutes is going to be us reading new anime ideas that our fans have that they want to have made into anime. The catch is, if this shit ain't going to make any money, who the hell is going to fucking invest in it? You think Kevin O'Leary is going to invest in something that's not going to make him any money? I don't think so.
Yeah, because we are Kevin O'Leary's.
Yeah, I don't think so, exactly. So people have submitted, I have taken 10 submissions from the mailbag where people are supposed to submit an episode title, an episode count. The studio, people do various levels of detail, but you at least need to have a synopsis and the money-making rationale. And if you don't give a title, we're going to make one for you. And I have the humor of a 12-year-old, so it's probably going to be something to do with penises or sex. So just prepare for that, okay? So that's the reality of things. Any questions? I didn't fucking think so. That's right. Yeah, I didn't think so. Endmonot submits an anime with a title of Closer Every Day. Yori Chikai Mainichi was the title. 24 episodes. Studio Madhouse. People love Studio Madhouse, but they ain't doing a whole lot these days. But every time I watch an anime from the 80s and I'm like, that shit was violent. It's always Madhouse. So funny. The genre is adventure slice of life. Let's see if I can read after drinking this gin. It's very strong. In the wake of a vicious attack from a neighboring country that all but annihilates his small village, the young orphan Ardens, I don't like that name, is left as its sole survivor by pure luck. Unsure of what to do or how to live, Arden shifts aimlessly through the wreckage of the destroyed village until the Count of the region arrives with his soldiers to survey the damage. Apparently, having a miraculous resemblance to his late son, taken very young by illness, Arden is adopted by the Count and taken back to the castle. He must now adjust to his new life with a new father, mother, 2 older sisters, 1 younger sister. Jesus, because you gotta have a loli. He may not be used to having a family, but they will grow closer every day. This sounds like some boring ass shit. I ain't gonna fucking lie to you today. Of all days, on this most auspicious of episodes, episode 667, which is the biggest letdown ever after 666. This is I'm out.
Yeah, I like how long this pitch is. It didn't drone on for paragraphs and paragraphs of slobber. That said, the genres being adventure, fantasy, and drama aren't coming through. I'm just reading the slice of life of Arden, which I'm assuming is a play on the word ardent, which is like to be passionate or, enthralled with something. But I don't see any of the personality here. I get he's, overcoming this sorrow, but what's pulling me in? What makes me want to watch closer every day? I'm not seeing it,
Yes, I agree. And the fact that it's also 24 episodes long, usually that is meant for a much more plot-filled story. Like, you need some more driving force to make it through 24 episodes. But if it was just 12 episodes, maybe I can see it being a thing. But also, to agree with Mason and Mitsugi's point, there doesn't seem to be a tease for what is the story going to be about? Why do you specifically have 2 older sisters and 1 younger sister? Tease us on like what the dynamics are going to be like. Is there going to be a problem between his more humble lifestyle and that of noble family? What is there going to be drama between that, or is it going to be more wholesome? Where is going to be the driving force? And unfortunately, I am not really sure, and I'm not sure if it does have one, if it's going to be strong enough. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to pass.
We all pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's a big mistake with me on this one.
There you go. Wow.
But thank you for sharing.
Endmonot, I love you. That's all I wanted to say.
We do love you.
Next.
We got one from God Emperor of Dune.
Oh, yeah.
Their title is Blessings of Space Hamster. This is ought to be good. The length is 6 episodes, an OVA. And here's the plot.
Space
Meet
hamster.
Sorororochi, a pompadour sporting a spacefaring super hamster.
What?
I'm sure what the pompadour.
I love it already.
Mason's in. This is Mason.
He traverses the universe in his space hamster ball, righting wrongs and bringing balance to unstable worlds. His ultimate goal is to venture through space in a seemingly impossible search for his best friend, the space gerbil, who went missing 411 years ago. I dare say that is 400 times longer than the average lifespan of a normal gerbil. I added that point in. Money-making scheme, plushies galore, space hamster pajama sets, and home Blu-ray releases with multiple special editions, which come with art cards, stickers, and either a keychain, a phone charm, or an enamel pin. Okay, I think this could possibly work. It's silly, but I think it would make for a very fun, low-key show. It's short, which is good. The names are very funny. The idea is very outlandish. And I think the plushies would definitely sell. What do you think, Mason?
Mason.
Have just read about Sorororochi, but I feel like we're friends already. I can already see this little hamster bouncing around, bringing a smile to my face, having a great theme song that warms the hearts of jaded old men and children alike. I think it's cute. I know God Emperor of Dune had submitted before. He usually ends up getting a a funding from us, and I think this is no exception. I'm in on Blessings of Space Hamster.
I
What do you
think
Mitsuki?
I think you gotta work on your names because no one's gonna be able to fit. I'm not even gonna try to read how many nas that has. Na, whatever. You ain't gonna fit that on merchandise, bruh.
Well, I think that's why you get, the nicknames out of this. You get Sororochi and Ananan or something. Like they would make it even cuter,
It'd be
and
like
you could say
Kuro-chan and Anna-chan or
the
something.
same way like Radical Edward from like Cowboy Bebop is like Louis the Fourth Junior Esquire Mandolin, whatever. It's like a whole thing, but you just shorten it. Same
And then
here.
let's not forget, we have Bobo, 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 Bobo.
Hey, don't
God
besmirch his
damn.
name.
You know what's fucking
Bobo
crazy?
Bobo is a classic.
You know what's fucking crazy? Is that if I have to read every fucking time I want to get a piece of merchandise, I'm gonna need more gin because I'm gonna fucking lose my shit doing that. Listen,
harder.
I'm gonna say that in the vein of how all children's shows on Earth make a dick ton of money because there's a lot of children watching stupid TV shows and buying pencils and backpacks and erasers. And I used to teach in Japanese elementary school, and every single kid has a Dragon Ball or a One Piece fucking pencil case. This could be, if you even have a 1% chance of hitting that level of popularity amongst little kids, then it's worth me giving you a little bit of fucking money to get a slice of that pie because children's TV shows sell like fucking hotcakes. Go on Amazon.com right now. Look up the highest selling books. I guarantee you, half of the top 10 are children's books. I guarantee
But
it.
first, use the Amazon affiliates link.
Yeah, exactly. Supporttheaddicts.com. So I'm in, motherfucker.
Yeah, and
good job.
If my first thoughts did not automatically indicate, I am also in. Congratulations, God Emperor of Dune. You have our first full support of today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Don't expect me to play the
Blessings
clapping
of
drop,
Space
though, because I have
Hamster.
to change the soundboard.
What was that?
Mason, what's next?
Next up, we have a submission from Hob Gent. The title of this one is The Pope, the Chef, and the Moe.
Yeah.
Where have I
What?
heard this before? The length is a meager 1,000+ episodes.
Oh, my God.
Plot. The unholy Pope Mitsugi, the master chef Mason, the charismatic Queen Caroline attend their daily tribunal to pass judgment upon their peasants. From sentencing furries to death by dunk tank to honoring brave warriors for their acts of valor. This anime has it all. Money making. Isn't it obvious?
I don't know, obvious.
It's not obvious because we need you guys to go and support. Like, it's obvious to us that you just give us money. Oh, no, sorry, we're talking about the show. It couldn't be allusion to anything else. Well, I personally wouldn't watch it. I don't know why anyone else does, but I don't know. It feels a little too not on the nose, but I don't know how a pope, a chef, and a queen are really going to get along. Like,
No one's going to fucking watch this shit.
There's too much
I
debauchery.
can see a pope and a queen being in this situation. I'm not sure why chef is considered a high-ranking official in this kingdom. But also, am I the moe in this situation?
What, you got a problem with that? Oh.
I don't know. I'm kind of flattered, but also I'm afraid of what Mitsugi would do to a moe queen.
Yeah,
he has
you better
to work
grow
with.
some wings. Just because you're a podcast co-host and a friend of mine doesn't mean I won't kick your ass in the anime pit of hell, because Satan pays well. Biatch. Grow some wings, time.
I don't know. I feel like I've endeared myself to the Satan of anime last week.
Oh, you think so?
I think so.
Do you have any kind of basis for that?
I don't know. I just feel like we really bonded.
Oh yeah, hey girl, come sit on daddy's lap.
I mean, if that's what it takes for me to survive, I guess I have no choice.
I feel like this would be an episodic plot where the charismatic queen is beloved by her people, spreading cheer and goodwill, and the Pope is just so enraged by her popularity and success that every time he schemes to sacrifice her to the pit of hell, but something always comes up and stops him, very Pinky and the Brain-esque.
We're really expanding on the lore here.
Yeah,
Where does
exactly.
Master Chef come in? Mason, do you even know how to cook?
Yeah, I know how to microwave. What else?
Listen, I could never kick Caroline into the anime pit of hell. I'm waiting for Caroline to come visit Denver so that Caroline and Pancake can go on like the girliest adventure of all time. Still waiting for this to happen.
We'd have a grand time, but I have no idea when that will happen.
Pancake will
I don't
take
know
you to
when
Babe's Tea House. The place is like heroin for women. Honestly, you'll enter a place the delights such as which you've never experienced at Babe's Tea House. You should look it up.
Are you sponsored by Babe's Tea House?
Sponsored by Babe's Tea House. I think we failed this one, didn't we?
We did.
I'm sorry. It's
You're
just not.
really intriguing because you get these shafts of white light and pure thinking in between a wafer of nut bar factor 6.
Okay, I have to read now. Great.
No, my enemy.
Kami no Kami by Sajinther. I don't think you
Why does
translated
this
this
sound
right.
familiar?
I don't know,
feel
but
like
I think
I feel like we've read something about God of Hair once.
I feel like Kami no Kami is more like God's hair, and I don't know. Fuck it. Hasami, which means scissors in Japanese. I don't know if that's intentional. It probably is. Oh my god, you fucking definitely
What?
got him. Definitely intentional. Hasami means scissors in Japanese.
Okay.
You would only know this if you taught Japanese elementary school kids, and they're constantly talking about their fucking Hasami and their Keshigomus and their fucking Anyway,
He's gonna be a barber, hence why he uses scissors. That's why it's funny.
Hasami would spend his days out back of his parents' cake shop cutting the hair of his friends and parents' customers? That's fucking random. At the age of 17, his parents surprised him with a scholarship to the Tokyo Beauty Art College. After making friends with the pompadour-loving... Why is there always a pompadour? Pompadour-loving Sori.
It's because you asked for it. That's why.
It's because I'm
People
bald.
know
do you
you
think
want
the-
pompadours.
why
They're
do you think
trying
the
to play
hamster
to
had
your
a pompadour?
affections.
The fucking hamster had a pompadour. The beautiful but ditzy Kushi and the French exchange student Amy, god damn these names. Hasami thinks college life will be great until he learns that because his parents couldn't afford the full entry cost, he has to take part in the shady college challenges and competitions that the underworld beauty scene bet on for sport, such challenges like cut the whole basketball club's hair in under an hour, the gum tape scissors match, the tag team handcuff haircut match, the shave the sleeping principal challenge, and the will finish off at the end of the year with the God of Hair knockout tournament. Will Asami be able to cut it, or will he end up short? Show will have 12 episodes. David Productions, JoJo poses. Money making will be. We will have all of a pop-up cafe. So what about a pop-up? What the fuck? I'm not reading this. I'm too drunk. Okay. What do you guys think?
I like it. It
could
feels
work.
like a fusion of like Blue Period, Smile Down the Runway, and like Food Wars, where it's a weird shonen battle series where it comes to beauty and like the skill set of your everyday normal life, but putting a spin on it, fueling people to be interested in the hairdressing industry, sharing positivity of a normally like female dominated profession with it's good. I like it, and it'll be fun. I'd watch it for sure. And
Yeah, I was definitely thinking Food Wars. I was also thinking Birdie Wing because apparently it's underground stuff.
well, the same way it's like a nod to like Initial D with the gum tape scissors, where like they'll be stuck to it or something. Yeah, it's so silly, but has a unique money making scheme with the pop up hairdressers and just a bunch of cool designs with cosplay that can be introduced. I like it, and all the puns is a nice effort he put in. So I would fund it.
I'm out.
I
I don't think anybody gives a shit, honestly. And the fact that you made a show about haircuts when I'm bald makes me sad. So I'm out.
But he has a pompadour, Mitsugi.
I don't care. I'm bald. I'm a bald man. Okay. Listen.
Okay.
Listen. You listen. Caroline's like, oh, I got my conditioner. I got my shampoo. I got an entire basket full of 43 women's skincare and hair products because that's how ladies are.
I'm not one of those girls. I have,
Okay.
like, a
Well,
very
Pancake
minimal
is,
amount.
okay? And I'm like, what does this do? What does this do? What does this do? What does this do? And you know what I'm like, oh, good. My Dollar Shave Club razors came in the mail, so I can shave my head. That's as far as it goes. Okay?
But there could be that episode where they have to compete on how to give a bald person the best haircut.
The
And
pack
they have
hunter.
to go to the philosophy that the mindset is a hairdresser does more than just your hair. It's the whole lifestyle. They could shape and scrub and massage and
Wait a minute.
do all
What
the
if
stuff.
what if one of the challenges is that you have to have really good hairdresser conversation? Like, because hairdressers are meant to like get into like your lives and talk to you and form connections.
What?
That's the challenge that they have to overcome.
Maybe 50 years ago.
No, they do it now. You just don't go to the hairdressers because you don't have any.
You could have the loser kid with no self-esteem and you give him a fresh look and he turns his life around. Oh, it'd be so touching. I shouldn't dare.
Touch it. So, just so you know, I know this is like the Mitsugi is Drunk podcast, but Pack Hunter just said he'd lick my head. That's pretty weird. On Twitch. And then Big Chugs, which is a great name, says that I always have a smirk like I just ripped ass and the whole room's about to smell it.
It's true.
Is that true?
It's so true. That is, out of
Oh.
everything I've ever read about you online, that is probably the closest to being accurate.
It's mostly
Too
this
bad
is like
that Pancake's not there, so she can't confirm for us.
it's mostly that this liquor is like halfway between moonshine and normal alcohol, so it's like really it's fucking intense.
Oh gosh. How much have you drank?
I've only had 2 shots and I'm feeling it. But I'm also dehydrated because I didn't drink much water today, so Mason will be very disappointed. Don't tell him.
You're a hydro trader.
I'm a hydro failure. Speaking of Caroline, you're next.
All right. This one is from Ghost Space Killer, and the name of this anime is Isekai Nai, a 6-episode OVA. So let's get into this plot here. We follow Kano, a 26-year-old salaryman, on a trip back to his hometown as he reminisces about his youth and the adventures he shared with his older brother, Ebel. What an interesting name. Oh, in the fantasy land of Canaan, I guess is how you would pronounce that. A shadow has always loomed over Canaan, a dark, unnamed force that thwarted the brothers' every quest. He recounts the thrashings that left them half dead, but not quite, and the disappointments that tempered any victories. No matter how bright the days, the shadow always descended and took its toll. Especially on Ebel, who had started off a courageous, kind boy, but gradually descended himself into darkness as the shadow took its toll and turned Kano's hero and protector into his tormentor in kind. Spoiler. At the end of Kano's journey, at the lonely funeral for the adult Ebel, he stares down upon his brother's scarred face. A familiar presence appears, casting an oppressive shadow over the proceedings. He hears the same growl that terrorized his youth and smells the breath that's still toxic, with the familiar poison as it whispers. Stupid boy. He knows now. There's no other world. This will make no money.
She's just gonna laugh at your ass.
Maybe for some Broncon doujinshis? I don't know. Brocon. That's what it says. Brocon doujinshis. I don't know, is what they say. Okay, I'm very confused, to be honest. Is it an isekai? Is he in a different world? Is it a video game that they're playing, or D&D? Or what?
I think it's not an isekai.
But it says isekai in the title.
But then it says
No,
inai.
it's not an isekai. Isekai inai. Okay. But still, I'm not entirely certain how this is. Is it D&D? I don't know.
Don't know, honestly. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't understand.
I think it was more of just a plot of it's not going to make money. I think that was the joke the whole time.
Yeah.
But I like the setup. Yeah, it just sounds a little bit like Freirin, the really good manga series that's being made into an anime where it starts in a fantasy world after the big bad has been defeated, and they have to kind of like be like, oh, we have to return to life now, which is a super unique concept. So I see where it's kind of coming from, but it's not going to cut it. After a pompadour hamster and a pompadour hairdresser, I did not see the words pompadour anywhere in here, so I am out. I'm sorry, my friend.
They're pigs. Pigs get slaughtered.
Damn.
Wow.
You get slaughtered, motherfucker. Mason, you're up next.
Up next, we have Arcane Monarch with the name Wormhole Traveling Through Isekai. What could go wrong? It's 12 episodes, and the synopsis is Genius Vash London. I mean, already having the name Vash is slippery slope. Genius Vash London creates a wormhole device used to travel between worlds. Unfortunately, it malfunctions, sending him through world after world, solving problems and attempting to get back home. Watch as he visits your favorite isekai, overpowered mage skeleton, overcautious hero person, that slime, rational boy, and many more. Studio, each episode produced by a collaboration of different studios to mimic the isekai world he is in. The money ideas will be figures, an iOS game, OVA with more isekai, a split of profits between each company with a mobile game and a fighting game on Switch similar to Smash Bros. So essentially, it's kind of like a crossover where instead of all of the isekai characters going to school together, this one guy will bounce from episode to episode into another isekai world, helping them with their problems. Maybe he'll go to like Konosuba and help Megumin learn not to fall asleep all the time. Then he'll go to Overlord and polish our Scully Boy's bones, and then he'll bounce over to ReZero and kill Subaru just one time for fun. So who knows? And I guess I get the appeal for it, but
No.
it's going to be a production nightmare to try to do all that.
And I also don't think it would be possible with how many licenses you would have to try to maneuver and get agreements for. I feel like if anything, it might be more possible if, I don't know, they did like parodies of those very famous anime and kept it more generic and just say like, oh, this is a reference to something else. That way you can actually produce something like this. Though I don't know if it would be that popular.
Let me just tell you something. Are you guys ready?
I'm so ready.
You know how much fucking licensing money you're going to have to pay to all these other properties to make this shit happen?
Exactly.
You're literally going to make your anime contain the Cautious Hero anime, Overlord, Slime reincarnated as a slime, Genius Hero, and a whole bunch of other fucking shows. You're going to pay all your fucking profits to these other people. So I'm out. Honestly.
I like the idea. Like, if it was made, it would probably be a fun watch. But as a investor trying to make this happen, I'm good luck to you, but I'm out.
Yeah, unfortunately, for those reasons also, I cannot support.
Part of what I have to do every day is to try and find opportunities where I put money in harm's way and I get a return. I don't pick places where there are thousands of dead and rotting corpses.
Damn. Next up from Craftimus, who I'm glad is still hanging in there as a listener. Sup, bruh. Internship, starting over from the bottom. Oh my god. Reverse isekai comedy where the main protagonist is from a fantasy world. He had finally gotten strong enough, both physically and mentally, to take on the big bad in his world. While traveling to fight his foe, he gets run over by a runaway turnip cart. What? He awakens in the body of an intern at a corporate office in Japan. Oh my god, that's the worst. That's the worst possible place. The story follows protagonist as he struggles to learn the work in his new environment without magic under his demanding. But a very attractive female boss with the help of a cute and friendly female fellow intern. Story is kind of a mashup of Devil is a Part-Timer and Agretzko. It's money-making. Coffee sponsorship? What? Say what now? Which coffee company? Is it Kirin? Kirin, or is it BCG?
Boss.
BGG? Boss Coffee? Kirin's...
It doesn't say. It's funny to think about a Boss Coffee sponsorship as an intern.
Yeah. The Kirin Firebrand coffee is my favorite. Let's see what else. Protagonist develops a love for coffee and drinks cans from sponsors in the show, and characters from the show will be used to market the sponsors' coffee. This is like a fucking coffee show? I'm out. No one's gonna change their coffee brand because some fucking loser drinks it on an anime.
That being said, I think the idea would be entertaining enough to garner some popularity. Mason, do you think?
I'm just doing in it right now.
Come
Yeah.
on, bro.
I am a fan of The Devil's a Part-Timer in parts in season
Come
1.
on.
And Agretzko. I
I
feel
like both
like
these shows, but I think I would answer the same way we ask, why does this need to be an isekai? Why does this need to be reverse isekai? Like, if he is not bringing anything to the table with his experience in magic, it becomes just a dude struggles in the office, which is fine, but I don't know. I get that you have the colon in your title, as all good isekais do,
yes, re-internship.
but man, I want to like it. I'm not seeing it. Maybe just because I don't like coffee. So on that selfish reason, I will not be funding it. But I do appreciate the submission.
You are nothing but still. There is no tomorrow. You're dead to me when you say no to my deal. You're dead.
You're dead. Get the fuck out of here, you little bitch.
I'd be willing to
I'm
support
sorry.
it a little bit.
Caroline,
With
you're next.
some tweak, I think. Okay, next one is from Prosomo, who's put together an anime called Not a Hentai. Oh, why do you give me this stuff? What?
Yeah.
I know you did that on purpose.
Hey,
I know
girl.
Okay. Not
Got
a
him.
hentai. Summary. An artist named Umi, age 19, joins her favorite independent mangaka, Jimmy.
What?
Something about the name Jimmy is something so funny to me. Okay, and so she joins as an artist to work on the next manga masterpiece. However, Jimmy can't get many of his new ideas off the ground, and it is possible for Jimmy to lose his business. After reading magazines for ideas, he reads a line saying, "Sex sells."
Creamy mommy?
Thank you. He has an epiphany to write a few hentais to get more money to support his interests of the next big story. This seems all fine, all good and dandy, but Umi's parents are very religious and will not let their daughter draw such filth if they find out. How will Umi ensure to avoid showing her parents her work, the conflicting issue of her morals, and what becomes of the next big story? Duration, 12 episodes, 24 minutes. And merchandise, published hentai from the series, meaning manga. This sounds like, what was that anime called? The one with the guy who draws a little bit of lewd shonen manga.
Kishigoto?
Today, Junior.
Yes, that's it. Kakushi Goto.
Kakushi Goto? I remember that shit.
Yeah. And that one was okay, but I don't know if I would want to watch another anime that has a similar story to it, because I feel like that one did I feel like the quality of that one was pretty good, but I don't think the story is strong enough to really have another one just like it, in a way. I don't think this one's for me, unfortunately.
I feel like the big appeal of this series is to have shots of a attractive lady blushing innocently as she tries to draw lewd things on a page. I feel like that's the whole what it revolves around. And it's hard to tell if it's what side of the fence of purity versus like degeneracy will land on. It just is tricky. I think it's got a good foundation, good fundamentals. But Jimmy? That's all I need to say.
And all I need to say is, oh, Billy.
If you were in one of my business school classes, I would spray you down with water, and every time you say I don't know, I'd hit you with an electric cattle prod.
Mason, you're up.
Next up, we have a submission from Alan. Drop the Beat is a 12-episode series with potential for more. The MC discovers an underground scene where dance battles summon avatars that can literally fight in sync with their dance moves. He joins a crew of misfits that hope to take the scene by storm, each specializing in a specific dance, style, genre. Throughout the series, a tournament takes place where each episode features one of their specialties. During the season finale, they will perform a routine that mixes all of their styles, There will be drama, action, training, love triangles about the crew, and all sorts of stuff. The songs can be monetized on iTunes and make a compiled season CD. Figures and other merchandise can be created around the characters and their summoned avatars, and have a lot of marketing crossover potential with real singers, dancers, and performers. This sounds like... what was that rapping show? MC Hypnosis?
Parappa the Rappa?
Hypnosis? Okay, let's not bring up the greatest artist in history.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like that Hypnosis Mike show, which I think people somewhat enjoyed, but it sounds like that, and I didn't like that show, so by association, I'm sorry, Alan, I'm already out off the bat.
Damn.
I feel like it's a little complicated with the whole, like, summoning avatars to fight as they dance. If it was just, like, a dance battle show, I would probably be into that. But I feel like they have to have this kind of gimmick where, like, oh, you know, like, it's actually a fight with these summon avatars that, like, you know, you dance and they fight. And I'm like, I don't know. It kind of sounds like, for whatever reason, I'm thinking of, like, Skate the Infinity, where they took, like, a cool idea and they just made it way too
That's
crazy.
a good way of putting it. It's like Skate plus Yu-Gi-Oh!
That's another jelly bean for me. Thank you very much. Honestly, I don't know if I can get behind a show that I don't think I would watch, so I'm sorry, Alan.
That's right, eat that fucking jelly bean.
Man, he's been listening in a lot lately.
So you're out? You were out
Yes.
on that one?
Yeah, we're both
I
out.
can't watch you kill money that way. Children
Are you
gonna
not
watch
gonna
this.
You know, Kevin,
They're
that's
gonna watch you kill money.
That's the beauty of the show.
You're murdering money in front of children.
I'm going to put the last one back in the mailbag because I think we're out of time, people, because I talked too much because I had a little too much drinky.
I mean, not really, considering you didn't even give your opinions on the last one.
I'm trying to be expedient. You both failed it.
I want to genuinely thank everyone who submits, who we read and dunked on hard. We do it out of love, and we appreciate you providing content, whether or not we backed it or not. You're still number one in my heart, so thank you, everyone.
And,
You
you
have
are
more
the best.
creativity than us for writing in these, so thank you.
And if you came to Denver, I would show you just how much I do love you. And that
Let's
is
see.
a threat. And that is a threat.
You're married. Let's have our intro weekly trivia question, shall we? What is the name of the timeline in Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury? So give us the answer, and we will give you the answer after the news break.
I give you a hint. It ain't Universal Century. Oh, Anime Addicts, Mitsugi's here, bringing you your anime news break. Starting off with a manhwa. I know how all of you love manhwa. Dr. Elise and the Royal Lady with the Lamp is getting an anime adaptation by Studio Maho Film. The synopsis is about a doctor who is a prodigy among Korean surgeons and has an intense skill for saving patients no matter what their condition. However, in a past life, this surgeon named Elise de Clorence was the ill-mannered wife of an emperor who had quite the opposite experience of saving people in her past life. However, after a fatal plane crash, Elise finds herself once again in her former body with her previous modern medicine knowledge and has a chance to mend her mistakes. So, sounds like a fluffy shoujo type show. So, all right, well, if you're a fan of that kind of content, Dr. Elise, the lady with the royal lamp, coming out sometime soon. Next up in the news, an Annie song artist, Maon Kurosaki, dies at age 35. Very shocking. It looks like in 2021, Kurosaki collapsed during a live stream concert due to an epidural hematoma, which is a condition where a mass of blood forms between the space between the skull and the protective covering of the brain. Very serious. Sounds a little like meningitis type, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. But, so Kurosaki did pass away due to a worsening chronic illness. She performed a number of anime titles, including Grisei no Kajita from the Fruit of Grisei. She did songs for Jumungand. She also did songs for Tokyo Ravens. and a lot of other tracks as well. So very sad to see someone so young pass away, but we will continue to appreciate her music. Next up, Sentai Filmworks has created a broadcasting partnership with Mainichi Broadcasting Systems. So entertainment company AMC Networks announced a partnership and distribution between its subsidiaries, Sentai and Mainichi Broadcasting Systems. The agreement grants AMC's High Dive streaming service exclusive rights to stream, a portion of MBS's future programming lineup in all global markets outside Asia, which means that High Dive will become more relevant and all of our lives are now worse because of it. So that sounds great. So it sounds like you're going to have to get High Dive if you want to watch a whole bunch of these shows. That would be on the Mainichi Broadcasting System, which hopefully is not a lot. Next up, winners of the 7th Annual Crunchyroll Anime Awards must protect... They got some bizarre categories of characters here. I'm just going to kind of skip through some of these because it is just way too much. Anime of the Year went to Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Best Director went to Haruo Sotozaki for Demon Slayer. Best Film went to Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Let's see here. Best Comedy, Spy Family. Best Fantasy, Demon Slayer. Best Romance, Kaguya-sama. Best Continuing Series, One Piece. Best Animation, Demon Slayer. That seems pretty typical. If you want to read the final results of the Crunchy Awards, you can't, without the fall, without any fall anime in there, I guess, you can look it up online. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. Now time to get back to the podcast. So you're at the gym, feeling great, and looking great too, I might add. That is until your favorite podcast ends. Now, without your headphones, you're suddenly lost in the wilds of Meatland. Don't get lost in the wilds of Meatland. Get the AAA Podcast extra content. We'll help you gain some fun times with our hobby addicts, after parties, and hentai episodes. Nothing gets your blood pumping quite like hentai, and nothing helps the podcast quite like your support. So head over to aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon to support the show. Again, that's aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon. Bro, sounds like you need a spot from the AAA podcast. Welcome back to the pod. What is the name of the timeline in Mobile Suit Gundam? The Witch of Mercury.
From Mercury.
Whatever. Ad Stella. AS, Ad Stella. Which basically means after the point at which you entered space, I guess. So, and I went and refilled my drinky. I got a little. I only took a half shot in this one. Caroline,
you need more, of course.
Don't you look at me like that.
Mitsuki, we don't want you sprawled out on the ground when nobody's gonna be home for a while.
I gotta go pick up groceries in an hour and a half. So,
are you gonna be able to drive?
It's like 100 yards. So, well, as we always do on this podcast, I'm not that drunk, honestly. Okay, Mom.
I know. What can I say?
All right, well, as we always do on this podcast, it's time for Unexplored Pictures. But now, I think with Caroline this week, she's excited. Here we go.
Get your popcorn ready. It's time for Unexplored Pictures with
Caroline.
Caroline. Okay, yes, I have seen a movie that Mason hasn't. Wow, what an accomplishment. That's because you had to get through 2 seasons of an anime to get into this movie, of which have you seen the first 2 seasons of the Quintessential Quintuplets Movie?
I couldn't get through 2 episodes.
Not even 2 you haven't even seen the first season.
No, I tried. I let me check. It might have been 2 episodes or 3, and then I was like, nah, I'm good.
Nah, bruh, I'm good.
Bruh. I'm tapped out. I'm not strong enough.
No, I talked about this not too long ago that I had watched the first season, and I liked that okay enough. I got into the second season, and for whatever reason, the first episode really, it made me think, I kind of don't want to watch this actually. So I put that on, I dropped that for maybe a year or 2. And then I think it was Champ Eagle on our Discord or somebody, forgive me if I'm incorrect. He convinced me to get back and finish the second season and get to the movie just because I want to know what the ending is. I want to know who this bland male character decides to marry out of 5 sisters that all
smoking
love him.
hot babes.
Yeah. If you want more of my general opinions on the show, I think I talked about it. Was that in our last one we've been watching, or was that before that?
It was the last one we did on episode.
Why not just move?
665?
What?
Why not just move to Utah and marry them all? Honestly, why bother?
Probably would be okay with that, to be honest.
Yeah, why bother putting yourself through such a difficult decision? Porque no los siento, or whatever the fuck the word for 5 is. Seis.
All right, well,
Porque no los seis.
I think 6 is 6.
Uno, dos, cinco. Uno, dos, cinco, uno, dos, cinco, seis, siete.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco.
Seis, siete,
ocho, nueve, diez.
Cinco.
Let's have a new
Porque
segment.
no los cinco. God damn it, move to Utah, make it happen.
Spanish.
Drunk Counting, where each week Mitsuki attempts to count in a different language. Tune in episode 668 for German.
Eins, zwei,
Anyway,
drei, vier, fünf.
We are tangent heavy this episode.
I would like to know what happens to this bland male MC.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do my best to talk about it without spoiling things, but if you still want to see the Quints movie and you want to know who wins at the end and you don't want any indication on who it could possibly be, I would skip this part. I'm going to do my best to keep it spoiler-free. So the majority of this movie takes place during the school's festival, which, I mean, of course, you have to get to the culture festival no matter what. Where Futaro tells the Quints that he loves all of them, but he will tell them which one he has chosen to be with after the culture festival. Which, really, if you want to be with someone who had to really think about who among your sisters he wanted to be with, that is a massive red flag. Yeah, you don't want to get to that point.
It's a massive erection, too.
Stop it. Okay.
Sorry. I can't.
It's just...
I'm sorry.
I just don't see quite the appeal of still pining for somebody, even though he could be equally in love with any one of your 4 other sisters. That sounds like a really, really bad situation that they should have just taken all of themselves out of and just forgotten about this bland boy. But they can't. So the movie follows one of the Quints individually over the course of the 2 or 3 days of the festival. And then they switch perspectives and repeats the days and shows it from a different girl's point of view. This shows more of their interactions with Futaro and also some insight on their plans for the future, careers, and more interpersonal issues. Like, for example, this is a slight spoiler, but not really. Their biological father. He makes an appearance in this show, which I was not expecting. So he comes in, and he is even more problematic than you can imagine. I'm going back and forth between mentioning this part, but I've already mentioned that he shows up and that he's problematic. So I'm just going to say it. He was their mother's teacher. Their mother's teacher!
At what level of schooling?
He's an old man.
Yeah,
he has to be like 50, 60. This lady, she looks like she's in her 30s. From when she was last in this show, and like before she died. It just makes you want to barf.
Between
he
this
shows
and
up out of
domestic
nowhere.
girlfriend,
Players gotta
you're
play,
having a lot
baby.
of troubles with
Yeah.
teachers.
So he shows up out of nowhere and he's like, I'm so sorry that I left you girls behind. Meanwhile, he freaking left their sick mother with 5 children. Like, no, actually, this was even before she gave birth. The pregnant mother with 5 fucking children. You just up and leave her? Are you fucking serious?
You motherfucker!
So he tries to apologize, which no amount of apologies nor atonement could possibly just like erase what you just did there. He should not even come out of the woodworks. He should have just stayed right where he was.
He shouldn't have come to
Because
begin with.
I was just disgusted by that entire plot point
Oh.
that I couldn't keep it from this review. Okay, so other than that, overall, the rest of the movie is pretty decent. Much more entertaining than I thought the second season was. So that's good. And to give my thoughts on the ending, but to make it as vague as possible, so I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. My opinions on some of the girls did change over the course of the movie. Some for the better, some for worse, but mostly for the better. Whether or not that changed my opinion on the girl Futuro marries, I will keep that a secret. But I will say that my opinion on the outcome is agreeable. That's all I will
Good.
say.
That's good.
But even so, if I was her, I would not trust any of these other girls around Futuro. No matter, even if he does, like, you know, stay faithful, I would not want him to be alone with any of them. Because even after the wedding, which is, here's another spoiler, minor thing. They decided themselves that they will all be going on the honeymoon with them. What? What?
I'm looking for my drop, but I removed it.
What was it?
I don't know.
No way!
There, that's good enough. Fuck it.
It's just so I do not really enjoy their dynamic as a whole as sisters. I feel like they are very backstabby, or a lot of them are. And I don't think that is a very good foundation to have your marriage. But even so, I'm glad I made it to the end. It was entertaining. And I'm glad I have the answer now to everything I could possibly need. And if you want to
What is
discuss
the
more
answer?
about this movie, I'm not gonna spoil it. But if you want to talk about it, if anybody wants to talk about this movie, all spoilers and all, we have a thread on our Discord, all for it. The Quintessential Quintuplets Movie spoiler section. So yeah, go ahead and go there if you want to talk about it. But other than that, thank you for joining me on this very long Unexplored Pictures, but I had a lot to say.
Would you recommend it?
I wouldn't recommend it. It's hard to, because, you know, you had to watch 2 seasons for it to get there. But if you are like me, who watched a season and you thought, oh, I don't know if I want to continue, but you're still kind of curious on what's going to happen, I think that you could possibly skip the second season and just go straight to the movie. And yeah, I don't. It's better to watch all of it, of course, but I think you could get by okay by just heading into the movie. So,
All right, time for mailbags.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime. Anime. Anime.
Mailbag.
If you would like to leave us a mailbag and not a Shark Tank, you'd go to the same place, AAApodcast.com, click on mailbag, and just leave it on mailbag and submit your question, and we'll answer it like the Creepster did. And they write, are there any characters or groups that you would have liked to see more of in a given show? Perhaps you would enjoy if they made a spin-off of said characters. Also, are there any characters or events you feel had too much screen time and wish had less? This is a tough question because it involves me thinking, and I was not in the mood for that today. Because so often I just see characters as a part of the world at large, and I'm never like, their story is so much more interesting than the story we're getting. I want to see more of them, but I don't know. I'm lazy. That said, it's funny that that's essentially what happened with Bungo Stray Dogs, where season 1 was about this guy who's coming into this detective agency, And then multiple times in later seasons, they're just like, ignore that guy. It doesn't matter. Let's get to a backstory on this character or how this group came about. And it's the best parts of the show. Obviously, I'd love to see more Haruko for Fooly Cooly, just see where she goes in her future endeavors that isn't the quote-unquote sequels. And I will mention, if you like Attack on Titan, a bunch of the side characters get OVAs that I feel like most people forget about somehow. So check that out, but I don't have a good answer. I'm sorry. I'm too tired.
I thought of a lot of great answers. In fact, I was thinking,
Yeah.
oh, this could be an actual topic. I would want to see more of the Body Improvement Club in Mob Psycho 100, just because they're just really fun characters. I think I would watch some shorts from them. I'm actually in the middle of watching, I finished Domestic Girlfriend today, because we're watching that, or we're discussing it for Anime Club this week. And just hot off the presses, I want to see more of Marie's Yakuza past, because that seems like a really fun story that I would love to dig into. And her character is pretty fun. And finally, on my list, I would want more of Ranko's past as a maid from Akiba Maid War. We watched that recently, and so she was a maid, she got traumatized, and then she became a badass, then she went to prison, and then she appears in the show that we watched. But I want to know what happened between becoming a badass and going to prison. I'm curious. But in terms of who I would want to see less of, I would have to say Pocoa from To Your Eternity, and she's not in it a lot, but it's still far too much. I hate her.
She's
so
a bitch.
much. She's so annoying. And also, we recently watched Kimi ni Todoke for Anime Club, and I'm still finishing it. Pin is not my favorite character. He's very annoying as well. He has his moments, but honestly, 90% of the time, I would rather he just not be in the show. So, yeah, that's my answer.
Nothing about Zenitsu?
No, I mean, he's okay. I mean, I don't really like him that much, but...
He's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really even think much about it when I was going off this list, so maybe he could be on there, but not as much as... Pocoa and Pin kind of take the lead for right now.
It's amazing Demon Slayer can be as popular as it is with such a just dumpster fire cast of characters, honestly. Yeah, like literally a guy who wears a boar mask and acts like a dipshit, and a guy who has like narcolepsy and is like very meek and scared of everything. And then you have a Mary Sue, an epic Mary Sue. And we made $1 billion off of this? How? It's fucking amazing. Oh my god. UFO Table.
Our animation, baby.
UFO Table deserves so much credit, because without their like blisteringly godlike animation, I don't think Demon Slayer really would have ended up being as good as it was. Oh, I would like to see more of the girls. I want more of the girls from Keijo. I'd like to see
any of them. You just want more Keijo.
I want all of their booties in my face. I'd like to see a twerking contest. We can do a 12-episode season where we focus on each girl individually for the twerk of a lifetime and how to make a TikTok page successfully, because we know that 90% of those are just girls that are twerking. So every girl from Keijo has at least 1 million followers on TikTok, okay?
I'm following, okay.
Any rebuttals?
I mean, it's a very strange idea. I'm not sure if that is Anime Shark Tank worthy.
All right, fine. OnlyFans then. So every girl in Keijo starts an OnlyFans. Woo! I might pay for that, but probably not, because then you could just Google it and you'd find it anyway. So
okay.
I don't have a good response, but I appreciate the mailbag.
Let's get into our review, ?
Yeah, let's do it, because Gundam is dope, and it's old as shit, and I love old things that are old. So this was my pick, Gundam, Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch of Mercury from fall 2022. I passed it on episode 650. It's on Crunchyroll, thank God. So You can watch it there or on Verve, which is where I watched it. So
The high dive curse has been broken.
oh my God, did you hear the news break?
Sorry,
Yeah.
I remember it, but what were the details?
Basically, more anime is going to be pushed onto High Dive.
Ah,
Essentially.
right. Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it's great. It's some great news. So in the distant future, humanity has advanced into space and switched into a new calendar system, Stella. Well, that was the trivia question, people. The solar system was split between the inhabitants of space colonies, also called Spatians, and Earthborn Earthians. And a vast economic inequality between the two was created. Vanadis Institute created an advanced man-made machine called Gund, which would enable humans to survive in the harsh environment of space, but the technology was employed for military uses, leading to the creation of Gundams, mobile suits, who used the Gund format to increase the performance of its pilots while risking their lives. Because of this defect, many pilots were crippled or killed using the Gund format, and because the team responsible for the development was mostly composed of women, all women somehow involved in the Gund format, whether researchers or pilots, became known as witches. In response, the Mobile Suit Development Council, led by the top mobile suit development companies, ordered a permanent ban on the Gund format and all of its applications, with council member Delling deploying a special forces team to destroy the research institute and killing everybody on board to erase all traces of the technology. Only 2 people survived: mobile suit pilot Samaya and her 4-year-old daughter, Ericht. So then in the year 122 of Adstella, Sutella Mercury transfers from Mercury to the School of Technology, an academy institute run by the mega corporation Benerit Group. I read this off of the Wikipedia because I don't think that any of the other synopses do as good of a job of summarizing the problems that this supposed incarnation of Gundam portrays of the quote-unquote Gundam technology. So, done by Studio Sunrise. Anybody who knows anything about Gundam knows that Studio Sunrise does all of the Gundam shows. They're all pretty much written by Yoshiyuki Tomino. Very important name. Probably one of the biggest names in the history of anime, Yoshiyuki Tomino. If you don't know him, go look him up. It's an original property. Now, Caroline, I imagine you haven't seen a whole lot of Gundam shows. What were your thoughts coming into this one?
I have never seen a Gundam show. I'm not huge on mecha. Even any mecha show I've watched, it's been just okay, and I never felt tempted to get into other mecha shows. So I mean, I was a little bit curious because I always hear about Gundam, and I'm like, what's the big whoop about Gundam? Let's watch and see. Even though I heard that it's not exactly the most. Are you downing a bottle of water or vodka, Mitsuki?
I'm obviously not chugging a bottle of vodka.
Okay, just wanted to double check.
Yes, I'm killing myself live on camera. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. It just looked a little bit strange.
Watches 12 episodes of Gundam with lady characters in space, and he's already ending it.
Listen, I made Lady Emery happy. I drank 3 shots of her liquor. Now I'm trying to drink 40 ounces of water to make Mason happy. Okay, it's called being a Hydra homie. It's called compromise. It's a very nice thing.
So back to what I was saying. I've heard that it's not exactly the most faithful to other Gundam shows because it's in a different universe, has different ideas going. But still, I was a little bit interested, but also expecting to not really be into it that much because I've never really come across a mecha show that I really liked.
Mason, how about you?
I have a limited history with Gundam. I've seen the Thunderbolts, I've seen Iron-Blooded Orphans, I've seen the original film trilogy, stuff here and there, some remakes, this and that, and I love the aesthetics of Gundam. I just think it looks so awesome, though most of the time I end up not really vibing with it. I had heard many good things about Witch from Mercury. It was a lot of people's first Gundam, and it was interesting to always see that. And fall 2022 was coming in hot. Fall 22 has been on a winning streak with our podcast. So many good reviews, so many good shows, and I was hoping that this would keep the good times going. So I came in with high hopes.
It's funny you say that because I recall passing this because it was the least mid show that I had. Witch of Mercury. I expected Gundam, but also this anime feels a lot like Revolutionary Girl Utena, which is very odd. And I think Revolutionary Girl Utena is a steaming pile of crap. So, I didn't expect a whole lot, to be honest with you. So that's just me being honest. Now, Caroline, as a woman who's very limited experience with Gundam and who wrote 0 things on the notes,
I kind of forgot this part of I just wrote in the spoiler section. I kind of forgot to do this part.
would you recommend this anime? Did you enjoy it?
It was okay. I can't say that it was great watching it. I have a lot of different things that got me thinking too much about the logistics that don't really make sense to me. And I will be sure to go through all of these things at a later point here. But overall, I couldn't really jive with it. Suletta is not a great protagonist for me. Sometimes she's just okay. Sometimes she could be a little bit funny, but for the most part, I just found her kind of irritating. And her speech patterns, her timidness, her actually trying to hide behind people just because people have approached her is a little much. She's doing a bochi, but bochi's actually endearing. And it's just not for me. At the very least, I'm not sure if it's a great representation of Gundam compared to maybe other parts of it. And overall, I just don't think it's worth it, unfortunately, especially since I feel like there were a lot of plot threads that were very cut off suddenly, especially by the end. And I understand that the new season is coming out and very quickly by, I think, next month.
Next month, yeah.
Yeah. So, but even so, like, if you're going to cut it off, I don't expect you to tie up every single plot thread. What I want you to do is, like, give it a good resting place. Because what they did was not good enough for me to really feel like this was the end of a season or an end of a part. Is this like a one core split thing? Or is it a one season?
They're calling the sequel season 2.
Okay.
But
So
it very much feels like it's intended to be watched as one collective entity. It feels like an 86 scenario where you're intended to go right into season 2 after this.
Yeah, so it's just not for me, at the very least.
Mason, how about you?
I think the show is well liked by a lot of people and has some solid mech action. It's very flashy and it has some fantastic production. So it's not going to kill you to check it out. But as a personal standpoint, as Mason, I did not enjoy the show from a casual or critical lens. And I feel like the problem is, I felt like every moment the writers were saying, how can we inject as much drama into each scene as possible? Which is good in that it makes each scene have some value, it has content, but it became so overdramatic that it just became meaningless noise, where all these fights happen, all these arguments happen that feel like they have no ramifications or impacts. It's more eye-rolling and aggravating than it is engaging. And I bounced hard off the series from the very beginning. And yes, Mitz mentioned the very obvious Utena worship isn't unwelcome, but it is always so ham-fisted, it fails to land an impact. It's like a parent trying to teach their kid baseball, and they're like, okay, here's the analogy, here's the symbolism, here it comes, I'm going to toss it, and they toss it, and it just whiffs, and you're just like, why are we doing this? The show is interesting that it asks literally what defines a Gundam, and metaphorically what defines a Gundam show, but the resolution isn't interesting, the plot points aren't interesting, and the show is split in between 2 arcs, both of which are equally boring. It felt like eating 12 Domino's lava cakes in a row. It was just like the same flavor over and over. No, but like some people like a lava cake, and that's fine, but it was just so artificial and sweet, and it just didn't change up the flavor until the very end, which wasn't enough for me. So I get the appeal of the show. It looks nice, it sounds nice, but I can't recommend it. I don't think it was that good.
I got some homemade dark chocolate chip cookies in the fridge. I'm going to eat those tonight. Pancake made.
My man.
Food references, that's another jelly bean.
Yeah, eat that fucking jelly bean. So I would not recommend this. This is just another failed attempt to rejuvenate a dying fan base of aged anime Gundam fans. There's a lot of articles online that you can read them on your own about how Gundam is trying to reinvent itself and appeal to a younger fan base because the original Gundam came out like 50 years ago and its fans are old and no one gives a shit about mecha shows now, and Gundam is like trying to struggle to rejuvenate itself and find new fans in the younger generations. And Gundam Build Fighters and this show, these are just attempts to do that, and, I think the fact that this is the first female protagonist in the history of Gundam is no coincidence. Take that for what you will. But also, this is just a horrific entry point for the Gundam franchise. Like, it's not going to be all doom and gloom as we do this review, but listen, if you're a Gundam fan, this is not the show you want to be starting with, okay? Why? There's like 30 Gundam series. Why would you start with a show that's not even on a timeline that exists amongst the other Gundam anime? You want to start at the fucking beginning, okay? Because Gundam is a show where things that happen in other Gundam shows get referenced because they're on the same timeline. Most of them are on the universal calendar, okay? Now, this is not, but it's ridiculous. It's like you're watching like a spin-off of a spin-off of a spin-off. Like, this is a terrible place to start as a Gundam fan. I don't even understand the point of this. Like, okay, Gundam fans are going to watch the Gundam Gunpla battle show and suddenly fall in love with Gundam. Or, we're going to watch this weird, like, Utena, like, school Gundam show and fall in love with this. And then what are you going to do from there? Go watch the old Gundam shows that are nothing like this? Well, then you're just going to be turned off by the other Gundam shows because the things you liked about this show don't fucking exist in the other Gundam shows because they're not like this anime. So
I feel like we should just institute a drinking game in this episode. Drink every single time we say Gundam.
Or I say the word, or I say fuck, because I've said it like 90 times. I just feel like this is a Gundam anime that's trying way too hard to fit in. It's got way too much school drama bullshit in it and not nearly enough Gundam action. Honestly, I thought the end of the show was good, but no. I mean, there's about 15 other Gundam anime I could recommend before this one. Unfortunately, and Satella Mercury is really, really annoying. She is, like, horrible. So, it's like, I understand that, like, we want to be progressive and have the first female Gundam protagonist, but could we find someone that's a little less obnoxious, who's, like, a little less terrified of everything, where she has to, like, stutter the first syllable of every sentence like 9 times because she's so overwhelmed by everything in the world despite being a Gundam pilot, and then randomly at the end of the anime she's able to just like magically kill people like it's nothing. It's just
that's a spoiler.
Whatever, it's just stupid. So it's just ridiculous. So we can talk about spoilers, but it's not recommendable. An anime like Majestic Prince just beat the pants off of this anime in terms of mecha combat. It's just not even close. And I don't know. And Revolutionary Girl Utena was probably never good to begin with. So, spoilers.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god.
Let's start at the beginning.
This is one of the rare cases where I think the opening theme song of this anime is better than the anime.
I thought it was okay. I mean, I didn't really think it was that.
Yeah, neither did much for me.
I thought it was good, but I guess it's just me.
But can we start at the beginning, please? Because there's a whole prologue episode. And that's where I had my first kind of like, wait a minute. What is this? Okay, so overall, it's not a bad introduction. It was interesting. You got the researchers, and they're trying to get this Gundam working, but then they have this association that's kind of holding them in the balance. Like they could go down, or they could continue their research. And then here's the thing. This organization decides all of a sudden that actually Gundams are evil because they kill the pilots and they cripple them and things like that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not a good thing to have. And sure, it might be a little bit too dangerous to get on, but the lengths that they go to for something that was legal 5 whole minutes ago, and that they were supporting, they were sponsoring, they were paying these people to do this work. And yet, they're like, actually, let's murder all of them and their families. What?
Well,
what kind of logic is that?
And beyond that, you don't hear about this like, oh, the Gundam's pilots are being killed bullshit in really any of the other Gundam shows. This is like the only time I recall hearing anybody say anything about piloting a Gundam killing the pilot.
Okay, well, this is also like a whole other universe.
I know.
So
I'm just pointing out that most of the other Gundam shows are connected in the same world, and this show is like this pile of horse shit that is inventing all this crap out of its ass. And
this does seem like a very it does seem like they're just using the name Gundam and the graphic design of a Gundam, and they're calling it a Gundam show, but it's not really.
Well, that's the whole point. It's saying what defines a Gundam show. Is it because of technology? Is it because it has mech battles? Is it how it makes you feel? Is it because some old dude with power said this is or isn't a Gundam? Like, I think that's the point of it. It's trying to reinvent itself, which I think can be a good thing. And because it doesn't connect, doesn't make it bad, it just falls flat for other reasons and makes Mitz disappointed because it captures so little of what he defines as essential to the Gundam experience and lore.
Yeah, but like going off of my point, that it makes absolutely no sense that they would massacre the people that they were just supporting all of a sudden, and nobody bats an eyelash about that. Nobody says, hey, that's really wrong. Are they the only space authority there is? Because
it's a
the
little extreme.
Rivalry of Earth and space. It's one of those things where it could be done. It makes sense why the Earth people are developing powers and technology that could one day have them oppose us. We must eliminate them cruelly. I get that, but also it's done so over the top and dramatically that it feels like very anime in the negative context. It's this again just stirring up drama because we need drama, and that's where it is less impactful because it's so absurd.
And then I still don't understand like the core situation between the Earthians and the Spacians. Like I get it.
So
Earthians are discriminated against. They don't have the nice stuff like the Spacians do apparently, and they're seen as lower class citizens. But they never really dug into the core issue.
It's common in Gundam for there to be people like on Mars and people on Earth and have them not exactly get along.
Gundam has always had these grand schemes of galactic levels of xenophobia, power abuse by the people above them, and this Gundam just brought in, what if they also had debates about marriage and going on dates and proposing to one another? But it's all mixed together in a gloop where the ingredients don't match that well.
The problem with this Gundam anime is that it's based on a premise of the Gund format or whatever, killing the pilots, that to me is just like, I've never heard of this before. And that's what this whole anime is based on. And to your point, Caroline, it's a little extreme to just murder everybody. Like, why don't we have a conversation about this? It's like, no, I'm just going to invade and kill everyone.
People still willingly want to work with this organization when they can be murdered all of a sudden because they suddenly had a change of heart about something. And also, how freaking ironic is it that they are going to say, no, these suits kill the pilots that agreed to pilot them. So obviously they know the risks of these Gundams. So you're going to say that you're doing this on behalf of the pilots. And you're going to go slaughter them? You're going to go slaughter people because people who agree to pilot these Gundams are putting their own life at somewhat of a risk? the brain is not braining.
The problem is, I feel like we've started every sentence with this review with the problem with this show. The problem with this show, my problem with the show is everyone acts, as I mentioned earlier, in the most dramatic way. Oh, we don't like this company. Let's kill them all. Oh, this person beat me. Let me propose to her. Oh, this person spoke to me. Let me hide and flee in terror. Oh, this person trimmed a tomato plant. Let me fall in love with them. It's just
person says, I'm going to hire gardeners while I'm out. She must hate me.
Every scene is ramped up to 11 for maximum emotional impact. And when that happens, scene after scene after scene of the most contrived setups just to have an excuse to fight with the Gundams or have a misunderstanding or do anything. It's so... it feels so unnatural.
Caroline.
It bugs me.
Caroline's cracking me up. She's like, how dare you risk your life piloting these Gundams? You have to die. I'm going to fucking die anyway, so you might as well just let me...
really all that caring of life if you're going to go murder people that were your employees.
It's just...
We were talking about it in the Discord, and it's like, why put the chance, the possibility that this machine will kill your precious pilots? Let's remove all doubt and let me just go kill them myself. You know, it's only right that a human kills them because otherwise it's a travesty. This way, it's just business.
I do think the writing in this anime is pretty bad. It's so obvious that Suletta Mercury's mom is going to be the villain at the end of this. You can just tell based on her fucking helmet.
Okay, so she is the woman in the prologue episode. Eric's mother.
Yep.
And
correct.
She has a completely different personality from what this Lady Prospera or whatever her name is. I understand that living through that situation must be very traumatizing, and you might have a different outlook on life. But she's just a completely different character.
And you should know that it's pretty common for there to be Gundam shows where a person wears a mask all the time because of Char Anzabel. There's a character from the original Gundam, shows that had a mask on, and so there's the majority of Gundam shows have a character wearing a mask as homage to that character, and so I think she is probably trying to be homage to him, although it doesn't really resemble him very much. But I also think that she will be the villain at the end of this anime.
It seems shady AF.
But to me, this anime just spent I don't know. It's just Gundam was never this anime. See, look, I haven't seen all the Gundam anime. I'm better than most. I probably have seen. Even seeing 15% of the Gundam shit at this point is a pretty big victory because there's 100 Gundam properties. But Gundam to me used to be more similar to Legend of the Galactic Heroes. It was political intrigue, space battles, stuff like that. This anime is more just dumb fucking school bullshit. Oh, you stepped on my toe in the lunchroom, so now we have to duel. Okay.
There's so many mean girls in this show. Almost every single girl character at this school that isn't named is a bitch. I'm going to manipulate her Gundam. I'm going to make her lose her test. And then they go, yay, high five. And I'm like, who are you? Why? What do you
I'm going to insult you. I'm going to spit in your food. I'm going to spray paint
take my pubes off, put them in your spaghetti.
And the school just it's all part of power structure. Yeah, this is all kosher. Yeah, go for it.
And not even just the Spatians being freaking irritating. Other than Suletta, most annoying is Choo Choo or whatever her name is. Well, for one thing, her hair is absolutely
the pink-haired girl.
What kind? Yes.
Oh, she's fucking annoying.
Spatians.
She does sound like
so
that.
Angry, and she's so annoying about it. You are going to blow yourself up just because this one very pleasant girl just so happens to be in your presence, and you go Spatians.
It's funny because so often Gundam's strong point isn't the main leads. So often it's the side characters of Gundam that bring so much life and vitality and character to your kind of normal flat protagonist. And while I like the dual protagonist approach here, neither are engaging, neither are likable, and the side characters are so flat. Like, they talk to each other almost completely through exposition, and resolutions aren't like character development. It's just, they lost in the fight, and now, okay, I've changed. Like, there's no growth, and all the characters just have such shallow everything. There's no depth.
Can I ask a question? Because this is, I think, a really relevant question that's going to happen real soon. All right, so Yoshiyuki Tomino. If you open up his credits on Mal and you type the word Gundam in, 113 titles show up.
Mm-hmm.
You could watch, like, if you added all the Gundam episodes together, it probably dwarfs One Piece at this point. It's probably not even close, actually.
I don't think so.
There's a fuck ton of
a
these.
A lot of these are movies.
Still
one
counts.
Or two episode OVAs. Yeah, but those are. There's no way there's more
God.
Gundam than One Piece.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of this.
All right, well, what's the point, Mitsuki?
The point was, Yoshiyuki Tomino is 81. And he has written pretty much everything that's Gundam. What the fuck is going to happen to Gundam when this fucker dies?
He's not the one who's writing a lot of stuff nowadays, though. He's the original creator of this stuff, but he's not the writer.
What does that even mean?
It means he came up with Gundam, but he's not actively, like, producing this stuff.
I see. Is that why it sucks?
It's probably part of it.
Yeah. See, my problem is that my biggest problem with this anime, besides the fact that it's Revolutionary Girl Utena, and I think that Ikuhara's a fucking hack, and you know, you can say what you want, but like whatever, like Ikuhara is overly pretentious, and I would like to have as little of him in my life as possible. But my biggest problem with this anime is that the whole premise of this show is based about how Gundams are evil, and it's so bad. Like, this shit doesn't exist in the other Gundam anime. You're just making this crap up out of nowhere. You're just pulling this shit out of your ass, basically. Like, go watch Gundam Wing. They're not going to talk about how Gundams kill the pilots, because they don't. Go watch Iron Blooded Orphans.
This is a different Gundam show.
I know, but it's horseshit.
Well, you need to accept that it's either a different thing and thus going to tell a different story, or you want it to be connected, which you do, in which it's clearly not going for that avenue. It's a different iteration in a different universe.
People in the chat are like, don't diss Utena. Bro, Anthe turns into like a fucking car. A human turns into a car.
That's the movie.
That's not the main part.
Whatever, it's like, stupid.
What's so wrong about people turning into cars?
It's these anime that like Ikuhara makes are like completely devoted to nothing but symbolism, and he'll do anything he wants to in the name of symbolism.
Well, we got tomatoes in this one for tomato symbolism.
They're not good. People don't like these shows because no one wants to read. Nobody wants to have to watch a 4-hour YouTube video to understand what the fuck they just watched.
Well,
anyway,
that's not our discussion for today.
Well, it kind of is, because this anime is literally like, like whoever wins the duels gets to marry the fucking Morion girl. Bjorn.
Like, what
do you think Utena is?
What would possess you to make that a rule at your school? Like, whoever is the winning Gundam or not Gundam pilot, you get to marry my daughter. And where's the logic?
Well, plus she's terrible. Who the fuck would want to be with this chick?
She's endeared herself to me a little bit. Like, she's not my least favorite character here.
Are you kidding me?
She is a bit bitchy, but I find her to be at least slightly more interesting than the other characters.
Can I ask another question?
But, yeah.
So Soleta Mercury is this character of this whole anime who like is borderline like what's the fuck that anime? Komi can't communicate. She's like Komi level of like like she can't talk, she can't do anything, like, and then randomly at the end of this anime, her mom's like, 2 steps forward, like we must move forward 2 steps. Like, I hate your fucking motto, but like it's so stupid.
Yeah.
I run away 1 step, move forward 2 steps, and then like her mom like gives her a hug.
Move forward, gain 2, move backwards, gain 1.
Whatever. And so her mom gives her like a fucking hug at the last episode, and then Soleta Mercury is just like perfectly happy, just like basically palm smashing a human with her fucking mech. Then she gets out of the mech and she falls on her butt and she's covered in blood. And then she reaches her hand out and her hand is drenched in blood. And then the
Tomato
girl
paste. Tomato paste, not blood.
And then what?
Nothing. It's a
Tomato
meme.
paste. And then
Yeah,
Mio,
it's just tomatoes.
and then Mio Renee, or however the fuck you say her name, is all horrified by this. And I'm like, yeah, because your friend Soletta Mercury went from being like this meek, little like timid, normalish girl to being like a fucking psychopath in the span of like 3 minutes. And I'm like, oh, her character just totally did a 180, and now she's like this bloodthirsty murderer who's just totally chill, having like her whole body covered in someone else's blood. How does this happen?
Yeah, that was my same thinking. Like, I get it. You want to, I don't know, surprise the viewers. And I also get that that pep talk might be enough to make you focus on saving your friends rather than worry about the value of life that's trying to take them away from you. I get it if you need to splatter somebody.
Really?
But do not if you
She
need
came
to.
in to defend her friend. Like, I get that.
Yeah, they were going to get killed. But to do it with a smile on your face and to, like, you know, come out of your Gundam and just skipping through the blood and then hold out your bloody hand to your girlfriend? Question mark? And you're like, hello.
It was reminiscent of Bacano, where that guy's like dancing around in the dude's blood in the train. It's like, woo! In his white suit.
It's definitely the negative influence of her mom, who's way too involved in a lot of shady ways and probably influenced her mentally or implanted something. Or, I mean, Soletta is likely some sort of, and we're just getting into rampant theory crafting here, but some sort of clone or progeny or artificial creation from the daughter of, like, there's a lot of stuff that it will get into. There's a lot of unanswered plot threads that just make you want to watch season 2. And I'm like, ooh, that is kind of tempting. I kind of want to know what happens, but thinking I'll have to watch any more of this show is painful.
Jesus
This is
Christ.
your quintessential quintuplets.
It is. This is a lot like, maybe not as bad, but a lot like Assassination Classroom, a show that I watched all of season 1 for, and I was very much like, I get the appeal, but it's just not for me. And it had a dynamite finale, and I was like, okay, we're in it now. Now we're gonna get good. And then season 2 was also equally bad up until the very end. Like, it just nailed the finales to string me along. And yeah, the finales were good, and yeah, I'm kind of glad I watched it, but it wasn't worth all those episodes. And that's how I feel like this is going to be. Season 2 is going to come and be maybe a little marginally better, but it's still going to fall into a lot of the pitfalls of overdramatic everything with characters I just don't care about. And yeah, I'll get my answers, but I can also just go to Wikipedia and be like, oh, it was this the whole time? Cool. I can move on.
Because but we ain't going to watch it because I'm not going to pick it again, and people in generally don't give a fuck about Gundam. Someone on the Discord made a comment, or someone on the Twitch made a comment, is like, the fact that the people piloting the Gundams kills them is symbolism of the fact that Gundam is fucking dead, and I think it is. I think Gundam is over. I think we should just move on. Who the hell's watching this shit? Like I looked on Mao. I checked to see how many people watch this anime. It ain't a lot. So, like, not a lot of people watch this,
but
no one gives a fuck.
That I want to
Gundam
make sure
is dead.
that I complain about.
Yeah, let it rip.
Okay, why did so many people want to support their new Gundam company when they all have the predisposed idea that this is a horrible idea and also one they could get massacred for? And they're going to invest in this high schooler's idea, that a company that she just made up in the process of this gala that they're at. That doesn't make any sense. Also, whoever was going to watch that promotional video that they made with Soletta, like, marching around.
Ariel, dance, fly, fight.
Oh my word. That is the worst promotional video I've ever seen. If I saw that, I'd be like, whose child is this? For what school project was this for? It's just so, it just doesn't look perfect. I know I'm looking at this through real life logic, because obviously the show lacks in both of those things. Nobody would go for that. Nobody would look at that and say, this is definitely a company that I want to invest in. No.
It does some things well. Like, it looks nice. It hits the money shots. Gundam X have always looked aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, it does look decent. The music is good.
The music is good. It's no Thunderbolt, but it is really good.
You got one thumb up for this one particular thing.
It does.
In this show is the music.
Sunrise puts money into Gundam, and it does show visually. There are some shortcuts that neuter some of the weight behind some of the scenes, but for the most part, this is the juiciest tomatoes you'll see this year, and you got to give it some props for that. Like, it's not a poorly done show in a lot of aspects, but it just fails in the most essential ones that I perceive as important to plot, characterization, story beats, pacing. Just a lot of it just felt rudimentary past the point of enjoyment. I actively almost disliked every episode of this thing.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. Because
Honestly,
it was...
I didn't realize how much I kind of really didn't like it until we started talking about it, and then we kept on talking about how bad certain things were.
Listen, Gundam was always dramatic, but there was a lot. But there used to be a lot of political intrigue, a lot of cool space battles, stuff like that. This is just a bunch of drivel. Most of this anime is just drivelish bullshit, school nonsense that maybe new anime fans like because they love school shit. But that ain't what Gundam used to be about. And I understand they're trying to like cater to the newer audience, but this whole like blend of like new stuff / Gundam stuff, it ain't working. It just isn't. I don't care about your fucking duel that was uninspiring and uninteresting. There was probably only like one actual battle on this whole show that was actually interesting to watch, and it was the battle between the blonde guy, whatever the fuck his name was, the surfer dude,
Aerith?
surfer
Aerith?
bro, who leaves his shirt unzipped, just like all the characters from Final Fantasy
Oh,
13.
that guy. Yeah, I know.
Shattuck,
or whatever his name was, versus Soletta was the best part of this anime, and it wasn't even that good.
I will say that as much as I hate that, and I also hate his name, Guel, whatever his name is. Guel, Turk, which sounds like jerk. So yeah, I absolutely hated, of course, at the start, but when he got humbled, he turned out to be pretty decent.
You mean when he murdered his father?
That was tragic.
That's pretty fucked up. Can't you guys communicate?
Artificial.
Can't you can't you use your fucking intercom to like talk to the other pilot and be like, "Hey, bro, stop." And he's like, "Oh, that sounds just like my son's voice."
That doesn't sound absurdly dramatic.
Like, honestly, the fact that they couldn't figure out the fact that they were killing each other was pretty ridiculous. Like, you can't speak and have the other guy hear your voice and say, "Oh, that sounds like my fucking son. Maybe I shouldn't blow this mech up."
They are very they were pick and choosy about when people could hear who is talking in the machines. Like, because all the time I'm thinking, like, oh, they are hearing this very personal like everyone in the school is hearing this very personal conversation, and then it's like, oh wait, they're not. And then who's able to hear who's talking in these suits? It was a major question for me.
And you know what's really funny is that I don't know exactly where this anime would fall as far as like the universal timeline, but this anime feels like it's well down the line of Gundam shit. Like it's not exactly like an early stage Gundam anime. I feel like it's the sense I get, and the fact that they have like that their technology is that shittily functioning is a little hard to believe. But you guys want to score it?
Yeah, I think so.
Caroline,
I feel like we've been riffing on it so hard.
Caroline, you've been going first. No one cares. Caroline, you've been going. Nobody watched this. You've been going first all along. Why don't you go first with your score?
Okay. As I said before, I didn't realize how much I kind of disliked it until we started talking about it a lot. But to be fair, it wasn't like the most painful thing I've ever had to watch. I got it done early too, so there's that too. It looks okay, like it doesn't look all that bad. The music I thought was really good. I got very confused over several plot points. Plot points were dropped by the end, did not really come off on a good note. That kind of helps when you're in between seasons. I disliked a lot of the characters, and I found a lot of plot points just extremely frustrating to comprehend. That being said, I think I would have to give this 2 cringy Gundam commercials out of 5.
Gundamu. Mason.
Gundarm. Oh
Gund
my
arm.
goodness. Yeah, at the end of the day, this was just another Gundam that fell flat for me. It just was like poorly written school section that gave way to a tiresome company section, and it just never really connected. Yes, there was some Yuri bait. Yes, there was tomato paste. Yes, the mechas looked good, and it had a juicy, unresolved finale that will make people want to linger for season 2, but I will not be one of them. I just didn't enjoy my experience with it, so I will also give it 2 rich girls do everything flashier out of 5.
I think the Gundam franchise is dead. I think it's over. And this is coming from a guy who has probably seen 50 mecha anime that aren't Gundam. I have seen most everything that is mecha that isn't Gundam in the last 20 years. I've seen the Razafons. I've seen I've seen everything. Macross. Definitely all the Macrosses. And Macross is way more interesting than Gundam at this point. And I think Macross is dead. I don't think anybody gives a fuck. Honestly, I'm amazed they even got this made. People are way more interested in watching, like, I don't know, trash rom-coms and isekai than they are Gundams, than they are mecha shows in any capacity. This one wasn't even good. Like, but you know what? To their credit, I mean, I don't think they could have done anything else with it. Like, there's, like, making it even more serious, like, more political, more about the battles. People don't care. People aren't watching anime for this shit anymore. They don't care about outer space. They're not watching fucking Gundam fights. They're not watching mech fights. They're not watching grappler ships and Outlaw Star. They don't give a fuck. They'd rather watch some perverted isekai guy grab tits in, some random isekai show. And that's what the world wants now. So there's really nothing that this Gundam show could have done. The fact is that no one cares about mecha anime anymore, and so it doesn't matter what this anime was about. It was always going to suck and fail, and that sucks because Gundam is pretty cool, and so is mecha. And this anime was just terrible. I mean, I've seen worse, but, like, maybe not worse Gundam shows. I think I'd rather watch Gundam Build Fighters than this. Honestly, Soletta Mercury is horrible. Just, like, awful character. And, God, her mother. What the fuck was that about? Honestly, it's just, like, a terrible anime. With, like, a very strange dichotomy of none of this shit matters, and then suddenly everything is life and death. And it was just very strange and just poorly put together. So I'm going to give this the most average of scores, 2.5. Gundam is fucking dead at a 5. It's over. It's been a long time since anybody cared. And
man,
that's sad. Really. I mean, honestly.
I was generous with my 2, but the 2.5? After saying it's dead?
Gundam is dead, but it wasn't the worst anime I've ever seen.
2.5 out of 5.
Listen, I'm going to hate Do-It-Yourself way the fuck more than this, I'm sure.
You are. I'm so
know
sorry,
you will.
but it's going to happen.
Watching little moe girls cut, like, wood block, like, toy cars or some shit, whatever the fuck they're going to do.
We're building a treehouse, Mitsuki.
Oh, a treehouse. Great. Awesome.
Well,
For
the
what
good
purpose?
news is we're not reviewing it next week.
What are we reviewing
I just want to
next
light
week?
their treehouse on fire while they're in it.
We're not reviewing a goddamn thing next week. You know
It's
why?
the Anime Oscars, baby.
We're doing
Hell
the Oscars.
yeah. Razzle dazzle, bitches. Get to the
Gotta
cleaner.
break out the bow
get your
tie.
I'd rather
Get your hair
watch.
did.
I'd rather watch this Gundam anime than Bochi in some weird way because I'm just not interested in, like, pointless slice of life nonsense. But they tried to make this Gundam show as slice of life as they could, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't fucking work, people. Go watch Crest of the Stars. It's better. Space-time bubbles all the way. I'm so sad about that, though, because Mecha used to be so fucking dope. Clear back the Die Guard and all the rest, with your fucking theme songs and watching
maybe for
kaiju battles.
Maybe because I of course have not seen a lot of mecha, as I mentioned. For the weeks I'm going to be off, maybe for one of those 2 shows, you guys can have, like, a little love letter to mecha anime as a topic.
Yeah, but nobody would care.
I don't know. Some people might. But
get us out of here.
Okay, let's close out the show here. We've
so
said
much
what we
negativity,
needed to.
and I just drank a lot.
Yeah, we know.
Maybe need more drink. Maybe I need to drink more.
And no, you have to go to the store, Mitsuki. So if you want to follow us, you can do so on Twitter at AAA Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, AAA Podcast, of course. You can go to Discord, AAA Discord. or was it info? I can't remember.
Try
Mitsuki,
both of
stop
them. You'll
plugging
figure out
for
which
me.
one is which.
AAAdiscord.com.
Gotcha. And you can do that to get involved in watch parties, like my Steins Gate watch party that we've been doing for a little while now. Of course, the seasonal watch parties and anime club every other Wednesday. We're going to be talking about Domestic Girlfriend this week, so it's going to be a lot of fun. You can find us on TikTok at _anime_addicts, where I put up a couple Attack on Titan TikToks that you might enjoy. And yeah, we are going to be back next week with our anime Oscars.
Oh,
so get excited.
Fuck yeah.
Are we headed into an after party?
We are.
Let's after party it up. And thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back next week. And have a nice, awesome day.
Bye, guys.
Have a good one.